So before I introduce our last speaker of the day, the things that are being handed to you, just be patient. We will just have a little exercise with those in about 20 minutes or so. So if you can just be patient with the gifts that you just got. So our next speaker is MILLIE MCCONNELL. And we first met Millie in 2014, I believe. We were asked, or 2015, we were asked to go speak at another conference in Florida. And that was for Debbie's Dream Foundation. And Debbie Zellman was the founder of that. And we were so amazed to have, heard Millie's story. She was this longtime survivor. And at that point, I didn't even know that you could actually survive. We were so, there wasn't all that much information that we hadn't even actually started My Gut Feeling. And then Millie and I connected because Millie actually, although she lives in Vancouver, she grew up in Toronto and lived around the corner from my house and actually went to school, I think, with one of my cousins. So it was this incredible, circle of that it was meant to be that we would somehow connect. And I'm so glad that she is actually finally here to speak to us. I just want to say a couple of things about Millie. Sorry, So Millie was diagnosed with stage 3B signet ring stomach cancer in 2001. She had a total gastrectomy, aggressive chemotherapy, and radiation treatment. Following her journey, she joined Toastmasters International so that she could share her journey with others. She is the British Columbia chapter founder of Debbie's Dream Foundation, and she's an active member of My Gut Feeling. So I'd really like to welcome MILLIE MCCONNELL.
Hello, everybody. Are we all awake? Isn't this amazing today? A lot of information. I can't tell you the number of notes I've been taking. It's amazing. I have been blown away by a lot of the stuff I've heard today. And me being such a long survivor, it really still inspires me seeing even new people that are diagnosed and listening to their story today. And I can't tell you how many times I had to walk out of the room because I was so emotional. I mean, the power of faith, belief. I'm going to beat this. We will beat stomach cancer. I am proof we will beat it. And we have to have that core belief in you to fight this hidden monster, okay? My thing is butterflies, rebirth, right? So I will open it up. What is a survivor? I looked it up in the dictionary. A person who survives, especially a person remaining alive after an event in which others have died. That is actually in the dictionary. A person who copes well with difficulties in their life, i.e., she is born a survivor. Very accurate when relating to stomach cancer, right? This slide that you see up there is probably about 10 to 12 years before I was diagnosed, which is actually in Canada's Wonderland with my two sons. Now, we were talking about genetics and the children to go through. Both of them are older now, and they will not get it done. I can't convince them, so it's their choice. So that's a whole different thing that we could get into. So I could just only pray that eventually they will get tested, because it is in our family, the H. pylori. But I wanted to share this because that was Canada's Wonderland, and it was in front of that beautiful mountain there. So, I I've never smoked, never done drugs, just a social drinker. I'm a Newfoundlander, what can I say? College graduate in university. I had a dream career where I was helping others achieve their dreams. So I was an admissions rep at a private adult college, several colleges actually over my span of that field. And watching people achieve their dreams was phenomenal. But one of my biggest talents is body language. I'm exceedingly good at it. And I was 100% commission. So you only get paid on what you sell. And I was their #1 rep for almost 7 years. Because if you came in to see me and I knew this wasn't the fit, I would tell you. Even though I'm on the commission, I didn't care about that. I always believe in treating people the way they treat you. So when I got diagnosed, it was a huge wake-up call because you know what I did wrong? I put that first. There were days that I was really sick and I still went to work. There were days that I actually had a really bad cold and I could have passed it, and I'm guilty. I went to work. I had 3-week vacations. I didn't take them. I made work my #1, and look what happened. Stress is what gave me stomach cancer. I know that. I know H. pylori is a big part of it. But when you get stress, where's the first place it hits? Is your stomach. And at the time, I was separated from my husband and I was living on my own. So here I got diagnosed. But before all that, it all started with abdominal pain. I moved from Toronto to British Columbia in 1990. I was part of CBC here. I was assistant director in 9 regions, and I had the transfer out there. And a long story short, I don't know if any of you remember, there was a massive layoff. Well, I'm one of them. I never even got over the doorstep at the Vancouver CBC. So at that point, that's when the pain started. So I started thinking it's stress, but it never went away. And I officially got diagnosed with IBS in 2000, but I'd had it since 1990. Diarrhea, constipation from the beginning, increased over time. On my medical record, it has that I have an exceedingly high pain tolerance. So if you hear me say I'm in pain, it's bad. I'll share a funny one with you. I was rushing to work one day, and you know, those of us that know what IBS is like, I was having an attack. I had to find a bathroom, and I was kind of in a remote area. There was nothing around. I just knew there was this horrible gas station. It was my only hope. A policeman pulled me over for speeding. And here I'm about to have an accident. So he's talking to me, license, registration, and I said, look, just give me the ticket or there's going to be a mess. And I was in excruciating pain. Well, he cracked up and I got away with the ticket, but I just barely made it to the toilet. But yeah, that's pretty bad. He said he never had anybody that ever asked for the ticket, but he was good. He let me off. Weight loss started 6 to 8 months prior to my stomach cancer diagnosis. I was losing 5 pounds a month. So I went from 198 pounds, which is a 33-pound weight loss, to 165. And after, I went from 165 to 80. That's 75 pounds. And that stayed like that for 7 years. So I have a lot of people I mentor all over the world. And that is the #1 complaint, is our weight, right? There's all kinds of stuff out there to help you lose weight, but there was nothing, and even today probably, there's really not a lot out there to help us gain weight. And that is a huge battle because it affects so much part of our daily living. And here we are battling cancer. Weakness and fatigue 6 to 8 months prior, I still experience that today. Frequent bathroom trips along with accidents. Oh my God, I could spend 2 hours talking about some of the funniest situations. I can laugh now, but yeah, I still get that today. I'm telling you, really. And it's always at the most inopportune times, isn't it? It's like, sense of fullness after eating small meals, I still get that. Gas. Oh boy, can I share some belly laughs on that one. Oh, even today. And the sick feeling. I don't have that today, thank God. My gallbladder was removed in 2000. So when those pains started, they decided to take the gallbladder out. I have to remember the slides, guys, I'm sorry. I've got essential tremor. Teresa, help. I've got essential tremor, shakes, and I have a hard time with working the mouse.
Right, is this the right slide? Are you here?
Yeah, I hear. Yeah. Oh, too far? Yeah, it's the one before that.
I think so.
Sorry, guys.
No, this is the next one. That's where you are in treatment.
Okay, there's one before that. Okay. August 2nd, August 2002, I was sent to Dr. Prest in Surrey, British Columbia. She performed an upper GI and found the ulcer, which didn't look right. So she took a sample, which later was diagnosed as Signet ring stomach cancer, stage 3B. Now, before I met her, I was getting the same thing a lot of us get. You know, oh, it's your irritable bowel. And granted, it is the same symptoms, but when you're losing 5 pounds a month and your pain level from 1 to 10 is 120, you know you got a problem. So when I finally went into my family doctor, I said, I'm not leaving the office till you get me in with the specialist and get this checked. And he did it. So this test with Dr. Press saved my life. September 2 was with Dr. Ross. He did a CT of my abdomen. He was another gastroenterologist. Amazing thing about this man. Again, I met with Dr. Prest, which was gastroscopy. They put me through the ringer. November 25th, 2002 was gastroscopy again by Dr. Ross because he wanted a more clear view. December 5th, a total gastrectomy. When Dr. Ross had me on the table, it was going to be the upper part of my stomach because that's where an ulcer was and the signet ring was. And it wasn't even a week when he got in to do the surgery and he found the entire stomach and 9 out of 12 lymph nodes were affected. He had been a surgeon roughly about 5 years at this point. I was his first total gastrectomy they ended up doing. And it was at that split decision, and out of his own words, we had you open from stem to stern. I made the decision to create the pouch. I brought this up earlier about the pouch. And I think that ultimately has saved me to where I look today. That was amazing. When I woke up from surgery, they had that feeding tube in my stomach. And my body instantly rejected it. It was literally acid all around where the tube was in. So 3 days later, they ended up taking it out, and I started eating foods right away. 18 days in hospital. They had a medical team that had pneumonia working on me. 5 years later, I met Dr. Ross. My father died of bowel cancer here in the 70s, and every 5 years, our whole family has to get a colonoscopy. And ironic enough, I went back to the surgeon that did my gastrectomy. He literally lost his footing and fell into a chair and broke out crying. When he saw me, he says, "I thought you died." I says, "Well, I'm not a ghost." So he told me he had performed exactly the same surgery on many others, and they all died. So he's looking at me, and this is a young man, and he says, "What did we do different?" And I said, "The only thing I know that did different was the hospital knew I was allergic to morphine. And when I came out of surgery, you know, they got the button you push. What was I doing but pumping morphine into my body? So all the blood was coming out of my body. I was vomiting it with a pouch and stapled. So they ended up giving me a blood transfusion. So Dr. Ross said, "You know, I completely forgot about that." He said, "That's the missing link." Now, that's pretty drastic, right? But that could be why I'm here doing so well. Who knows, right? Because he said he did everything exactly the same with the others, and they died. 2 years after that meeting with him, he developed Parkinson's. And it wasn't gradual, it was, his career was over. He's done. Young man, yeah. I've lost touch with him. So January 03, I met with Karmajit Gill, that was my oncologist. Review of test results of the upper GI gastroscopies. I'm sorry, guys, I really have a hard time with the shakes on this. Yeah, we won't be able to do the slides. I need help with them. Chemo radiation review was on January 24th, 03, and I was given 3 months to live and told to put my affairs in order. That's a wake-up call. 1 cycle of 5-FU, I don't know if I'm saying the name right, leucovorin, it's on a slide, daily for 5 days, and 1 month later radiation with 5-FU and leucovorin first 4 days. Now, at the Surrey Hospital, they had the meditation and the mindfulness, and they had people volunteering to come in and work with us while we were doing the chemo radiation, so I really liked your presentation. I'm very into that. It got us through a really hard time when we were doing cancer treatments, and touch healing was also there. Last 3 days radiation. So overall, my treatments were, they told me the second highest levels of chemoradiation together. And that was really intense. I couldn't move the slide again. I'm on this one now. Sorry, my tremors, I can't control it. Yeah. So 1 month after radiation, we go again on the 2 cycles of 5-FU and leucovorin for daily 5 days a month. I've got people questioning me today about what cycle were you on, so I'm glad I had it in the notes. Significant side effects worsened with radiation. Last 2 treatments, chemo treatments, they had to cancel it due to balance in my cerebellum, which stayed with me today. I've still got it. January 28, 03, I met with Diane Matigro, was my dietitian. Weight loss dropped 90 pounds. So we talked earlier about water, and it's a common thing. Those of us that are going through this, our body rejects water, and I am absolutely 100% confused on that, because our body is so assaulted and it's mostly water. Duh, I don't understand this. But vitamin water and Gatorade were the only ones that I could get down. Before and after photos, these are important for you to see. That was supposed to be the first one. You see some of them here. My family, my sister, took these pictures, and I was really upset. The first one was just before I was diagnosed, but you could see, obviously, with the second one. And I ended up eating crow later, because once I started mentoring people, we all get into that fear. We can't gain the weight. We look horrible. We look in the mirror, and who's that looking there? You don't look yourself at all, right? And I apologized to her, and I said, I'm really glad you actually took those pictures, because I've shared these online. And I can't tell you, I get emotional. The beautiful messages that they send back to me, that I've given them hope. You know, wow, I didn't think I can achieve it. And I'm hearing here today, some of you gained your weight back in a couple of months, but me, 7 years it took. And then you see here as well, just some more pictures, and I think we got more here. So today, I'm 165 pounds. My doctor, family doctor, retired in December, and it was around October, I think, July or October, somewhere around there. He always checked my weight, and I maintained the last 10 years in around the 160 to 170, and he said I was overweight, and I had to go on a diet, and he couldn't believe he had to say it to me. So there, that is huge. I had to share that with everybody here today. So I am actually a little overweight. Isn't that something? I don't mind that. Okay. Yeah, should be another one. The new normal words were used quite a bit today, and it is so true. It is a new normal for us. Faith. as long as I've been breathing, I'm very, very strong in my faith. And I really 100% believe that really got me through it. Nothing and nobody would rock that faith to this day. At home, I've got an angel room. And you go in that angel room, and it's magical. It's powerful, the energy in there. And I share that with everybody. I'm really proud of that. And I've brought people suffering into that room, and they've walked out almost healed with emotional stuff, not cancer, but with emotional stuff. It's amazing. Diet, oh, I'm still getting that. It's ongoing. We were talking earlier, once you get past that 5-year mark, you're forgotten. And in British Columbia, I've tried to connect with a dietitian, and I've tried all that, and nothing ever came through it. So you're kind of on your own. And so I'm really thankful to the girls for starting this and getting it going. And it really helps when I can call in from British Columbia and we all share, and it really helps. Dumping. People have no patience for that, eh? Have you noticed that? My brothers, like, I'm going to be staying with my brothers here, one of the brothers, and he's got no patience. If he's driving us somewhere, and you know what it's like, guys, when you gotta go. And he gets really irritated, right? So I have to educate him, like, smack, smack, wake up. Self-esteem, wow, that is tested. I am really thankful. When I first got that notice that I had stage 3B, signet ring, 3 months to live, I had my moment. I cried. But a calmness came over me and acceptance. And I thought, you know what? None of us is getting out of here alive. None of us. So if this was my time, I'm going to do everything in my power for them to learn from me to help the next person survive. And I had that entire outlook through all my chemo and radiation treatments. And I shared with a couple of people today, the radiation fellow was close to retirement. He'd been doing it for 30, 40 years. And what I call behind the iron curtain. So when they get you set up, and they go behind the iron curtain, what I call. And I'm cracking jokes. And he finally, at one treatment, he stopped, he came out, and he looked at me and he says, "How do you do it?" I said, "Do what?" And he says, "How do you stay so positive? Every time you come in, you're a breath of fresh air, you're always laughing." I said, "So what's the alternative?" He couldn't believe it. He kissed my cheek. And he went back and we finished the treatments. And I was like that with everybody there. And I really think that got me through it. That was a big part because I let the fear go. You know one lesson I learned? Let go of what you can't control. That's your worst enemy. Don't worry about it. If something's really bugging you, it's going to hit your gut. It's going to hit your system. It actually affects your cells, your blood cells. It's been medically proven. You ask yourself, is there anything I can do about it? If you answer no, you let it go. That's the best gift you can give your life, and I'm proof on that. Chemo brain, oh my God, I got that. I still got that really bad. But now I make jokes of it because I do things and I'll say, "Oh, I'm a newfie, I do things backwards," or, you know, and I get chuckles. And that's what you got to do with life. Life is too serious as it is. I mean, we need a break, right? We're going through enough as it is, all of us in this room. And I'm talking the medical team as well as us survivors, right? And our loved ones that are going through this. And you know what? My husband is a huge, huge portion of why I'm alive. And I'm telling you, he was and still is my focal point. I mentioned earlier when I got diagnosed, we were separated. That man didn't blink. He came over immediately and took care of me. And to this very day, I'm 16 years, to this very day, he has never once made me feel like I was a burden, ever. He did everything that the nurses wouldn't even do. I was sitting in my own feces in the hospital in a diaper. He came in and washed me. He had to put pain medication up my bum. That man never blinked, never complained. So we're back together. He proved his love, didn't he? Right? I'm telling you. You know what I didn't do? I don't got a picture of him up there, I don't think. You guys are showing your pictures, and I'm going, oh my God. I don't, there's pictures missing on slides that might be on there, but. So that, the financial difficulties. Guys, I was a six-figure income. I'm on 900 and something a month now. No benefits. Hubby is 100% the full support right now. So his stress load has gone through the roof. And I've taught him mindfulness. And he took the course through the mental health in Langley. So I really like what you did. It made a huge difference in our lives. So currently, I have 5 water-filled cysts here. And I remember the radiologist had said it could show up in 10 years. You might get a tumor or something like that. They're not worried about it. They've been monitoring it. But I'm watching it. And that's all I have right now. Other than that, I'm healthy, right? So it's the new you. There's some more photos. That was my worst, the top. This is a woman that's here in Toronto. She's a second mother to me. And that woman has been through hell and back with me. And she flew all the way out from Toronto to British Columbia because she was told I'm dying. That woman is 80 some odd years old. She's hardly got any sight and she's extremely frail. And I know her time's coming. And that picture is priceless. Because when she came, she still looked at the old Millie. She didn't see that at all. She didn't see that skinny thing. So that's a very, very important picture because those of us that are going through the treatment and we're at our worst, wow. I mean, I know I've got that hidden talent where I have really strong I read body language good. That was not good when I was going through chemo and radiation because it was a shock. They come and see me at 165 and they meet me at that. My brother, Danny, the one I was just talking about that has no patience, you know, he came out and he walked right past me and went in the kitchen crying his eyes out. He's a big man. That left an impact on me, right? I do Relay for Life every year, and I inspire everybody. I've actually been called up to give a speech at one of them. And then I just kept on going, so it was hard for me to push myself to get out of my bedroom. I didn't want to be around people, and I am a real sociable person, but that's showing people that I was sharing online, the one where I went to an old car show. I said, you've got to force yourself to get out. You've got to be around people. And you know what? People need to see what we are going through, right? We're alive. We're not dead yet. We're fighting something. We need the love. We need the support. We need the strength. Get out there and show your face and be proud of it. That's that picture there. Teeth. The only things I bring up, the diet, we need the diet counseling. Those of us that live past the 5-year. Chemo fog, I don't think they can do, but anyway, that. But the teeth. I don't know about you guys, but I had really beautiful teeth before I got treatments. And now they're yellow and they're fractured. And my dentist is really upset about that. He said they should tell us before we start treatment. They have preventative measures. Isn't that nice to know now? I'm going to be losing my teeth because of the chemo. But you know what? I'm alive. So I want to say a very special thank you to everybody, especially Katie and Teresa. I'm so proud of them. And guys, they've treated me like a queen. They flew me in. They got me in a beautiful hotel. I've never felt treated so beautifully. And I'm emotional because it's actually, I'm serious. They've gone overboard, to be honest with you. They're wonderful, absolutely wonderful. There's one more last slide I want to do. Now, there's my guy. You see this guy? He's in Fort Lauderdale, Daniel Damon. 24-year survivor, and he's got a pouch. He lives a normal life. I talk to people all over the world that are going on our travels. They've never heard of it. I can't tell you how many emails I get. Well, I've had my stomach out. Can I get a pouch now? I'm not a doctor. I can't answer these questions, right? This man is living a 100% normal life. And he's my mentor and he's my inspiration. So you think I'm an inspiration. 24 years with a pouch. So I salute Daniel big time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for helping. I have no control on this.